You know I won Mortal Kombat.
Don't get cocky. The tournament had rules. This time, anything go.
You're alive. Too bad you will die.
Father, the merger has begun. Earth is under attack. And it is glorious!
Welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Sequel. This is the movie podcast where we're talking sequels, and we do it in two parts. The first, an interview with an actor or someone involved that made the film worth watching. And the second, a discussion of the sequel, what they got right, what they got wrong, and how it could have been better. Hope you enjoyed last week's interview with, the great actress, stunt woman, soon-to-be director and writer, Margene Holden. She, of course, plays Shiva, the fan favorite from Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Is so terrible that they cut her fight scene in this movie, but I love hearing her stories about getting that role, how she was approached to do stunt work for speed, and her story about being buried alive in John Carpenter's Vampires. Amazing. The fact that she had to do 4 or 5 minutes under dirt like 4 or 5 times, mind blowing. So if you haven't listened to that, check that out. But first, you got to check out this week's review of Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Wow. Before I say any more, I got to introduce you to my partner in this sequel watching journey, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how are you doing?
I wish I was given a fatality.
Oh, man.
From this movie, and this movie is definitely in the tops of one of the worst movies I have ever seen. And I don't think I'm going to be alone on this. Here, so the story behind, I've seen this before because I do like the original one, and I haven't seen it in a long time, and I'm sure it's cheesy now, but it's still just, the soundtrack was great. The actors are great. The fighting was great. So I bought the double disc set because I'm like, you know what? If the first one's good, the second one's got to be great.
Oh,
oof. I think there's a 4% on Rotten Tomatoes. So Son of the Mask,
okay.
Son of the Mask is got a higher rating.
Wow.
Okay. This movie is awful. And I think this movie has a higher budget than the first movie. The CGI in this movie I feel like I was watching like a Power Rangers episode on TV. Or
if that's insulting power. I would say it's more like 90s computer games. Like when you see that guy, when the only thing I really do enjoy in this movie is I love the characters in the first game, but in the second, third game, because that was like same for you, like Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo.
Right.
Those are dude. Nothing beats Test Your Might in the first game. Like the fighting part of it was great, but like Cyrax, you had Smoke in this one, you had Nightwolf barely in it, which sucked. That was so stupid that he was barely in this. But I did like
Shiva.
that aspect. I know.
It's just like, first of all, she looked great in the movie. That was good. Like that, But like, why did we not get that fight scene? Like that, just like the fact that that was ridiculous. But also you don't have the same actors in this movie. So compared to the first one, I feel like the actors in the first one that played, the regulars were much better.
Highlander? Like, I like James Remar, but
so do I.
But see Highlander because he looks more like him. And he's actually Raiden. In this one, why does he have a crew cut?
Yeah,
because he became a human, his hair fell off.
I like him a lot too, and he plays a great bad guy, right? He's always good.
Dude, he was 80s bad guy go to, yeah,
without a doubt. But I think he's miscast in this movie. He doesn't fit the rated part. Even Sonya, I love the first Sonya. The Sonya was not as good.
That's the only thing you know me. I love Pete Sampras' wife, which I don't know what other movie we covered she was in or why I talked about her. I love her, like Veronica Vaughn. Yes. Yeah. But this girl in this movie, which is crazy that I'm about to say this, but Liu Kang didn't have the best fight scenes. Even though the fight scenes were great in this movie, dude, Sonya Blade had the fight scenes that were like the ones that you're like, okay, this is cool. And she actually did her finisher. She did the kiss of death in this movie.
Okay. All right. First of all, okay, I think the fight scenes in the first movie were way better than the fight scenes in this
100% better.
I feel like the fight
they were like
scenes
real fights, yeah.
Wait, this movie, I felt like I was watching Breaking 3. Like it felt like it felt like it was a breakdance movie because there was a lot of spinning and kicking and like kicking and missing, and like one would kick and miss, the other one would kick and miss, and like it was like dance moves. There's a lot of flips, like unnecessary flips. Like it was just like I don't know. Like I mean, like to me, like the fight in the woods, the first movie, the fight with the
Scorpion versus Johnny Cage in the first movie. Yes,
great. The fight when the who's the lizard? When he was like kept disappearing.
Reptile.
Great, and a great scene. Like I feel like they were great fight scenes. This was the choreography was like dance choreography. It was awful. It was
what they decided in this movie, which I don't know why they would do this because the first one worked so well. The first one was it was a fight movie. It was an 80s type fight movie.
It was based on the game. The first one was the game.
Well, the second one was not based on the game when it comes to the story of the movie, but the fights, they made them look like the game, because there were sometimes when the people were doing like the kicks in the air and they were doing like 4 or 5 like you do in the game, like, and there was like these weird like things that you saw that CGI like that they threw onto stuff that made no sense. But here's the question. So I'm going to throw a question at you, or a comment that I'm guessing that you did think about it, but listeners probably don't think on our level, not like because we watch so many of these. The one thing that I could not stop thinking about the whole movie was, where's all the people? This movie was about the basically these worlds were combining. That's what Shao Kahn wanted. In 6 days, the worlds are combined. Blah 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 blah. But where are the people?
Not only that, his army. He had a massive army in the beginning of the movie that it was nowhere to be found in the second half of the movie.
I know.
Like if he had that
army
army
from the sky,
ridiculous. Listen, there's so I have the least amount of notes for this movie because I mean a lot of the movie is fighting or dancing, so I didn't have much going on. But like, there's so many questions that I have in this movie, and I like the budget. I don't know what the budget is. I'm assuming like $20-30 million, whatever. I don't know where the budget is because like the way they travel in that stupid sphere. Right?
Oh, you mean going through the inner winds? Using the inner winds?
If they took the budget from that, whatever they used for that, to other things, the movie might have been better. Like they didn't need to show that. You know, I even that, like, it just made no sense, like, to have that travel, and they showed it a few times. Like it was like,
why not just do teleport? We don't need to see the ball going through the tunnels.
No, and so you mentioned teleport. So clearly, the bad guys, good guys, they have their teleport kind of, I guess, magic they could do. Why are the bad guys traveling on horse?
Oh, I wrote that down. Why are they're flying from the sky?
They're flying from the sky.
But then when they land on a horse?
And they're just traveling as if they're in the Old West, traveling like on horse for like a long time. Yeah. Like it was so dumb. And they look ridiculous in their costumes, sitting on a horse and just traveling. It almost felt like a Mel Brooks movie. Like they were so out of place, you know, traveling on a horse. It just it didn't look right. Like I feel like, I don't know. Like this movie, I don't know what they were aiming for, but they really crapped the bed. I mean, the first one, I'm assuming was a big success, and to follow it up,
and the game,
I know it's
success, yeah.
Oh, but to follow it up with something like, I understand you can't always copy, you know, and do as well as the first movie, and some movies can do that. This one should have been like the 6th movie in the franchise. Like that's how bad it was.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
If they had 5 other ones, this is like the Sharknado version of like the movie. Like this should have been number 6.
No, this one was like when it comes to the budget, when I was talking to Margine, this was like the time of, it's so funny, it's the pinnacle movie you talk about when it comes to like visual effects and CGI is Jurassic Park. So like that came out in 93. So, but at that same time, you had that studio. I can't think of the guy's name that like ran that studio, but like you had that guy, and then you had other people that were like, "Oh, I can do what he does for X amount of dollars." And what happens is you pay somebody to do some work. You're like SOL, like so when you get to the point that you're like, "Oh, so what do you got?" And it's that scene when Cyrax like has like those acid balls or whatever they are, like go on that ninja, and it like goes all over his body, and then he's like a skeleton from a computer game. You're like, holy shit, like, And that's why they run out of money, because I think they were paying people that didn't know what they were doing, because they got to the point that they had to tell Margine, like, oh, we can't do this because your scene's going to cost $1 million to do.
Yeah, but see, we've seen we've seen a lot of bad movies and bad low budgets. Look, none of them look as sloppy as this. Like at least
yeah.
I would just say it's not even just the bad CGI stuff. I feel like it was sloppy. Like it was so sloppily done that you could see some of the outline of the green screen on some scenes of some people walking by. Like so it's one thing to have bad special effects and CGI, but to me it's the editors or whoever does the like the reviews or whatever, just they didn't do a good job. It was sloppy looking. It was just awful. It really was.
Yeah. No, but I was just thinking, like, as they were talking about, like, the whole, like, the realms are going to combine, and I'm like, why isn't the world in chaos? Like, they didn't show any other people. Why did not do one shot of people in Times Square panicking?
It would cost too much money to have extras.
Probably, I guess. Yeah.
That's probably why. So, but I mean, they did have a whole army of people that they could have used as the extras. You know,
that was a legit one shot, that one far shot that they showed. That was there was probably 500 to 1,000 people.
They probably took that from a a samurai movie, and just used that clip as the movie. But
here's question number 2 for you. So
wait, I'm the one with the questions. Why do you have all the questions?
Well, I have another question.
Okay, all right.
Or comment. I'll say comments. You're the question guy.
Okay.
So my comment is, well, no, it's a question. I'll pose a question to you. So Sonya Blade, obviously, when it comes to ladies that in the 80s, 90s, do you think her nipples are really hard the whole movie, or was she wearing a bra that had that? Because it got to the point when each time the scene, I was just like thinking in my head, I'm like, they can't be hard this whole movie, right?
Well, it might have been cold outside.
It might have been cold.
I mean, so I just thought they were cold. I mean, not for nothing. I mean, she was with Sub-Zero. Well, was that Sub-Zero?
No, she wasn't. No, that was Sub-Zero's brother. When they threw that line in,
okay.
You killed my brother.
So stupid. I mean, that Sub-Zero has a brother?
Yeah, that's in the family business. Like
he wears so Sub-Zero's brother wears the same clothes. Which, by the way, so this movie takes place directly after the first movie, correct?
Well, that's what it seems like, because it's so funny the like Liu Kang as it's so funny when it comes to the rules of this, when he gets complaining to Raiden and he's like, wait, I thought if by winning the Mortal Kombat tournament we're good for a whole generation, and I'm like, so they have one every what's a generation, 30 years? I don't even know what but it's so funny.
It lasted a day. It lasted a day.
I know.
Because I think it was right at end. So it took place right after. They're wearing different clothes than they did in the first movie. Liu Kang, Sonya, they're not wearing the same clothes they wore in the first movie. At the end of the first movie.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, no, because wasn't Sonya in more of she was just more army? She was wearing a guinea tee, no?
No. This Sonya wasn't wearing a guinea tee, was it? She was wearing a t-shirt, I thought. It
was a guinea tee.
Well, she was wearing something different. Liu Kang, I think, had red or something. So I think he was. This movie is it's almost as if, again, that the first movie didn't exist. The fact that if you've never seen the movie and now you're seeing a new Johnny Cage, which again,
well, not for long.
But why? Why'd they get rid of him so fast?
I don't know why they chose him. Because he was kind of a fan favorite when you think about the first movie. His fight with Scorpion, his his split punch in the balls of Goro. There were some cool things with him. Now let's get rid of him in nothing. It was not even anything to fuel the story. It was more we killed him, and then he's somehow he's on this perch that comes out of the ground, a hand that was holding
killed
him.
one of the biggest things. What was it, Goro or whatever? What's his name in the first movie?
Yeah, Goro.
Okay, so he's the one that kills the main henchman in the first movie, and he dies in 2 seconds in this movie. Literally, I feel like Raiden is supposed to be one of the most powerful. He's the biggest wimp. He does nothing in this movie.
Well, he can't, remember, because the worlds are combining. Yeah, so he loses his hair, and he doesn't have his lightning bolts. I guess I don't know.
it just and okay, I do like Brian Thompson a lot. I think he was miscast in this movie too. First of all, he sounded like Bane from Batman when he wore the mask. Like I couldn't even understand him, and I just feel like, and was that his father, the old guy? Who's the old guy?
Well, that was his father. That was wait, that was the whole thing. That was his father, and then it was revealed at the very end.
Yeah,
that was Raiden's.
Is he in the
too.
game? Is that old man in the game?
No.
I mean, and he played like a big role. Like, why did he even have that guy there? I'd rather see the Chinese guy come back from the first movie.
Oh, what was his name in the? I always forget because Shao Kahn is in this one. Forget what is that?
Okay,
name of but that's a good actor. That guy.
Okay. He's a great actor. Does Brian Thompson look like a Shao Kahn?
I know. And the fact that like they're trying to destroy humans, but they're humans.
Wait, are they on Earth?
No, they're in the outworld.
So what do they care about humans for then?
I don't know. They want to like kill them. I have no idea.
Wait. If they're in the outworld, how did Sonya get there and Jax?
Oh well, Raiden brought them there. He used like last power to go there.
So they're never gonna go home.
Well, no. At the end they go home when it's over.
They went home.
Yeah, at the very end of the movie, everything was solved, and what's his name? Liu Kang went back to the monks, and then everybody else went back to where they were.
I didn't realize that was Earth.
And then Jax says a line, which we'll get into the beginning of the movie in a minute. But Jax says the line at the very end, which I just want to mention it now. He goes, "Man, that was a long 7 days," and I'm like, "This happened in 12 hours, like not even 12 hours." She got him from the facility, and then they were like walking for a little bit, and then it was nighttime, and then the movie.
Well, I mean, wasn't he like in a coma or something? So maybe he thought it was 7 days?
When he was getting his arms in? Like, that's a surgery that people get elected to do at a special medical facility?
Okay, wait a second. So they made it look like his arms were attached to his body, but they were like gloves. He took them off like gloves.
I know, and that makes no sense because I think in the game they're mechanically put on. I don't think that's anything
correct.
Like that,
so he becomes like a cyborg in his arms, and he literally took them off because Raiden says you don't need your powers.
I know, dude. Yeah. He said the dumb thing like, "Oh yeah, those arms are holding you back." I'm like, is this really gonna come back later? Yep.
Oh my gosh, it did. But like the fact that he did take, like they made when Sonya finds him, and I know we're skipping all over the place, but this kind of movie you're gonna have to. He's in that place. He looks like he's all strapped in with all these different wires. They really make it look like that he became like a bionic, like machine. And he literally took both arms off as if they were like long gloves.
Yeah, and he seemed confused when he woke up. How did this work? He goes, "Oh, let me see if I can get out of it." And somehow he was like there by choice. Like he chose that, but they strapped him in. So if I'm going for elective surgery, I'm like, if I wanted to say like, "Oh, I want to," what celebrity's nose do I want? I don't know. Throw any celebrity out there.
Michael Jackson.
Nick Cage. We were talking Michael Jackson. Yeah, Michael Jackson's nose. Not post-mortem. I don't want that nose. But like mid-90s nose, really tiny. Looks like something.
Well, he's had a lot of work on that nose. It's probably the only thing that's still there in his coffin.
That is probably still there. But no, so Michael Jackson's nose, I want that. Do you think they're gonna strap me down when I want that? Wait, why are they strapping his arms down? He chose to do that. It wasn't like in Street Fighter with like Blanca. Like Blanca, that was like an experiment they were doing on somebody unwillingly. But no, in this one, he chose to do this, but he's strapped in.
And why does he need to be strapped in? Because they're gloves. They could have just they could have just handed it to him and hey, put your arm in there. Okay.
Yeah.
Like
what
made
surgery
it like
was really happening? You're right. Yes. Why did you need surgery?
He didn't. And so in the games, I don't remember. So he doesn't have metal gloves in the first one, but he gets them in a second game.
No, he's only in the second game. He's not in the first game.
Oh, and he had those metal arms in the second game.
Oh yeah, he always did. Yeah,
but he didn't have it in the first movie.
Jax was in the first movie.
He wasn't?
No.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Yes, he was. He was 100% in the first movie.
Jax is in the original.
Different
Mortal
actor.
Kombat?
Different actor, though. It was a different actor. I'm almost willing to bet because I remember him punching the ground or something in the first movie. Because wasn't that one of his moves? He would punch the ground. Isn't that a move of Jax? Are you doubting me?
I'm looking it up right now.
Well, that means you're doubting me. He
I
was.
because I don't remember him in the first movie. I
I'm-
guess he could have had he could have like dropped off what's her name.
But that's how
Sonya
Sonya
Blade?
knew. That's how Sonya knew him, and that's because I'm almost positive he does that move where he punches the ground and does something. I don't know. I could be wrong.
I'm not seeing him in the first movie.
All right, we're gonna have to discuss this later.
Yeah, listeners at sequels only at Ricardi17. Tell him maybe if he's in the movie or not. But no, yeah. So let's get into the movie.
Okay.
So it obviously the nostalgia of like hearing the theme song, you get like jacked up. I was even thinking for fun, like I'm gonna do it tonight. I think to play the game, like find an emulator online, even though it's a pain in the ass, like playing on a keyboard. Just the nostalgia of playing those games. I played that so many hours of my like youth.
I did too. I just hated the fact that you had to do 15 things in a matter of 3 seconds to get the fatality. Like you know. Like,
oh yeah, no, I know.
It couldn't be like one button. You had to be like and the amount of time you had to do it is very short. I only have like a handful of fatalities I was able to do because it was just too hard to remember all of them. And you know, back then you obviously didn't have the internet, and so it was hard to like figure out and just. Yeah, they didn't give you enough time. I think they should have given you at least like 30 seconds.
Yeah. Were you more of a Mortal Kombat guy or were you like a Killer Instinct guy?
I never really played Killer Instinct. So I was Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, but I was like a Scorpion guy. Like I always used Scorpion. He was, you know, yeah.
I don't remember what
Killer
my
Instinct
guy was.
Wasn't Killer Instinct with the animals or something?
There were some animals, and there's animals in this because if you remember, in Mortal Kombat 3 is when they added animalities. So this movie threw that in there, which was
didn't they have one that you turn them into a baby also? A babyality or something like that? Like
they did have that, yeah. In Mortal Kombat 3, they had babyality, yeah. And Mortal Kombat 3 was I don't know if 2 for some reason, I don't know why I forget that so much. Maybe it was like kind of a retread of the first one with a few new characters, but 3 was the one that had Toasty, and you had to like hit the button at the same time, and you'd be able to fight Smoke, and it was like a special thing. Good times. Good
I did like Street Fighter. I think I played Street Fighter more though. I think only because it was also easier to play. Like Mortal Kombat.
Street Fighter 2 Turbo was my game.
I don't remember the names, the difference.
Yeah, well, that was just the second one.
Well, I just know that on Mortal Kombat, Liu Kang, I just like doing that bicycle kick just because it looks silly. Because it just looks silly. So I used to
Kano. I like Kano because I love his finisher move and I could do it. The heart.
Who's Kano? The one with the red eye, whatever.
Yeah, he was the one that Sonya. Remember?
Oh, Sonya. Yeah.
Oh my god, from the first. Well, we should be talking about this movie, but the first movie.
I'd rather talk about the first. Well, can we talk about the first one instead? Because the first one's so much better.
When Pete Sampras' wife, when he's like the guy was such a horny like a-hole. I remember him just eating grossly. He reminded me of the guy that took the kid in Dick Tracy in the beginning of Dick Tracy, like that monster looking guy that lived in the shack. Kano looked like that guy the way he was eating like a chicken leg, and he was like talking shit to her, and then they started fighting, and then she snapped his neck. All I remember is just before he died, she had her downstairs right in his face, and he like said like a comment, and she just turned and it snapped. But yeah, the first one.
Well, she also had the Thunder Thigh move in the first one.
Yes.
You know, like the first one was basically blood sport. You know, in Mortal Kombat, like that. You know, and that's why it was so good. It was like a blood sport. This movie, honestly, I don't even know what the full plot is. And
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I really don't.
They know. I think it was more of they were like basically like, you know what's funny is it's almost like, not saying they predicted the future, but did you play any of the later Mortal Kombat games? I didn't, but my brother-in-law played them.
I think, you know, like the PlayStation 3 or something, like, you know, the graphics are like ridiculous now. But yeah, again, I stopped playing because, you know, if you get someone that has studied the game and knows all the moves, you can't do anything. You know, I was that guy that would just smashing buttons and hoping that, you know, some kind of combination would come from like smashing the buttons, where while you have these people that are doing X, X, Y, Y, Z, whatever, like real fast, and, you know, so I couldn't handle that.
But in the later games, they were kind of walking around the realms, sort of like in this one. But the first one was just like, you knew exactly what was happening. Like, you knew, like, oh, this is going to be a fight between these two because that's the next matchup. And then these two, oh, they're trying to kill Johnny Cage before he's going to fight Scorpion in the Woods. Like, that's not an official fight, but it was a fight between two people. This one you really don't get like one-on-one fights.
No,
Everybody's
this
always together, so it's like this weird. Yeah.
Well, this movie I think is basically, again, no good. The plot wasn't well written. I still don't understand what it is. It was more about, all right, let's just introduce new characters that we can introduce. Just throw them in there, like let them just pop out of nowhere and just like, oh, there's that character. Oh yeah, there's that character, and I think that's what it was. I mean, like again, you have a fight between Scorpion, who I thought was dead, and Sub-Zero, who I thought was dead. But they have their own fight, which why they fighting each other made no sense in that scene. Like, and it's like just to throw it in there. Like, it was just a matter of like, who's who? Who else can we put in this game? Because they have the guy with who's the monster looking guy? Borak or Barak?
Oh, yes, that's the guy. I liked him in the game. Yeah,
right, yeah, right, cool in the game. But in this movie, like, he looks like he's wearing a Halloween mask.
He looks like Sloth. Yeah,
Sloth.
He looks like Sloth.
And he lasted 5 minutes. Like, it was such a it's like you have another cool character to throw in there, and like it just, again, let's see how many people we can put in there and who's going to recognize them.
Yeah, no, I know. Well, no, so we'll get to, because it's pretty quick, but to get to like that Sub-Zero fight scene, there was something really silly and like. But anyway, so like, again, this movie starts like right away. There's like these freaking ninjas, like right in the beginning. There's ninjas flying from the sky, and then we like Raiden just like spits out the exposition of like, oh, they want to take over the realm, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then this is when Liu Kang's complaining about like, oh, you know what? There's rules. It's supposed to be. I won the Mortal Kombat, so there shouldn't be anything for another generation.
Yeah. So doesn't it like so the whole big thing of the first movie is basically a lie, because now it's so everything that they had to go through in the first movie, and the gods said that this is what has to happen for to cure everything or whatever. A day later, it doesn't work. It only lasts a day. Like, it just like that really, again, a stupid way to like the plot was really like very thin.
Oh yeah, and you know what made it even worse, which I think we're just not even gonna be able to go in order of this movie. But the thing that made it even worse was the end of the movie when the Elder Gods came down, and they just, instead of, I thought it was gonna be one of those, they were held captive or something. I don't know if you can like cuff a god. I don't know.
Excuse me, Raiden's a god, isn't he? And he gets a haircut.
Well, he's not. I guess he is a god, but you don't have the status of elder god until the very end. He has that. But no, but the fact that the people came down, they're like, they basically just like didn't even. I thought it was gonna be something like, oh, I'm sorry, he tricked us into doing this, but it was just so dumb because they came down. All they said was like, this should be decided the way everything is by Mortal Kombat. I'm like, what?
But
they didn't even.
They already did it. They already did it.
Yes.
So why are they saying it again? Like, no, now we really mean it. Now it's really Mortal Kombat. It wasn't really Mortal Kombat the first time.
Yeah, this is a real one. Exactly. It just made no sense to me. I thought it was going to be one of those things like, oh, they kidnapped.
Right.
They kidnapped them, and they had other gods, like.
They tricked them or something like that. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like Reptile or one of those, like, one of the characters can pretend to be them. Something like that.
Nothing.
No,
Nothing.
Okay. Yeah. Oh no! Now this is Mortal Kombat. Okay.
And remind me again why Raiden loses his powers.
Well, he can't go into for some reason he can go to Earth and have his powers. He can be in Outworld and have his powers. But if the worlds combine, he doesn't have powers.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense.
But he has his powers no matter what. But if they're combined, it doesn't work.
But does everybody else lose their powers too?
Well, nobody else really has power. Like, all the other people don't have powers. Like, somehow Liu Kang turns into a dragon.
So he does have powers.
I guess. I don't know how. Because he didn't do all three parts of his task that Nightwolf said there's 3 things you have to do, and he does 2 of them.
But if he could turn into a dragon, why didn't he do that in the first movie?
I don't know. Because he didn't finish the task. There was nothing that he learned from Nightwolf, which was such a shame. I love Nightwolf in the game. He was such a cool character to play with the axe throw and the way he turned into a wolf. Like, there was cool stuff they could have done in this movie. He talked for like a few minutes. He reminded me of the drunk guy in Best of the Best 2. That actor, Billy from Predator. He looked like him. Like, Billy could have played him. But it was just a shame that they had him in that scene. And then Jade comes and he goes, I didn't finish all my tasks, but I know how to get in there. Okay. He just leaves. A lot of this movie is we have to do this. We have to do blank and blank. Okay. But we just did blank. That's fine. You didn't do everything you said you had to do in order to get to the fight Shao Kahn.
You know what it is?
You had to do 3 things. Nothing happened.
There's a lot of rules, but there are no rules. Because if you don't follow the rules, nothing happens anyway. So they have these rules, but it really doesn't make a difference because, you know, the rules are basically broken and nothing changes. So it's, I mean, and I feel like there's like, they'll have dialogues of trying to explain what's going on, and they explain what's going on multiple times, and then right after that little dialogue, there are just fight scenes for no reason. Like, you know, out of the blue will come ninjas or whatever, and then fight, and then they have their dialogues, and then a fight scene out of the blue. Like, really, like it's almost like an improv action movie. And and that seems like it's just like they were making it up as they go along, and you know, this seems like a good spot to just throw some, you know, fighting, and again, the fighting is mostly like dancing. Like, it's so many flips, and like there was a scene when like near the end, they're literally like he's doing like that Van Damme kick that he does when he's like hopping on one foot and he's like swinging his leg like 4 times, and like they do that, like they're not even hitting each other. Like it just I can't.
No, I like again, out of all the people, like fight scene wise, I think Sonya Blade did the most fights, and she did like, pretty good fight scenes. I liked her fight scenes.
She did, but I mean, let's be honest. I mean, out of all the characters, she's the lamest one. I mean, out of all the characters you can have, she's the best looking one, but she's the lamest one. She did the
kiss of death. She did do her finishing move from the game in the movie, which is pretty cool. The only person
kiss of
that
death.
did that.
That's a lame kill.
Oh,
that's a lame.
And
kill.
How about the way it's set up? That it was like perfect. That she was able to like have a powder that was flammable to blow into the fire that was already there.
Yeah, so she just holds on to, like, does she have unlimited power?
No, I don't know where that was from. I don't think she was holding on. I think it was wherever they were. I don't remember. There were so many points in this movie. I was just like, I don't know what's happening. Like, I'm telling you, the one part of this movie, because I watched this. Well, obviously when it came out, like in the 90s, I definitely watched this. But there was one part of this movie that I really had vibes of the Muppet movie, because when Raiden goes, you 4 are a family, you have to feed off each other, blah, 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 but you'll need help. So I'm like, holy shit, we're getting other people from the game. This is awesome. And he goes, you must seek out the help of Nightwolf. I'm like, oh, I love Nightwolf. And then obviously Liu Kang gets there, and we talked about that already. He's barely in this movie. I thought they were going to go to other people. I'm trying to think in my head, like, what other characters can they recruit? No one else. Nothing. No one.
And why do they split up? Why are they splitting up, like, in the rollerball? Like, what was the point of that?
No reason. No, it made no sense, because it wasn't like you're going for Nightwolf and you're going for this. There was like some BS reason that why the other ones were going somewhere else. But to me, it made no sense. And no, I'm sorry. Sonya was going to the medical facility.
Well, to get Jax.
She was going to get Jax, so that was her plan.
How'd she know Jax was there? Because he was in the first movie. Because he was in the first movie. I'm telling you. So we'll cross that bridge later. Yeah. But I mean, so you have them. First of all, I still can't get over the way they travel in this movie in that ball. Like, it just
interwins.
And it literally, like, it's not like it's going like hyperspeed where it's like it's just rolling through tunnels. That's all it is.
That's really all it is. It looks like something that they didn't. I really hope they didn't build a life-size set. I really hope that was on scale. It was like on a
I feel like that's where the budget went, because they show it for a while, and like it looks like a distance that they easily could have just walked. Like, they made it look like they were going to a different.
No. Here's what I wanted to ask you about it. I hate to cut you off. How about the fact that they have this interwind tunnel? They're able to travel everywhere, but don't forget, on this one jump, you have to lean to the left because you're gonna die if you don't. When she goes, hard left, I'm like, are you kidding me? Nobody fixed this?
Okay, and the ball is spinning, like rolling the whole time. How are they standing still in the middle of the ball?
Oh, I know.
Wouldn't they be rolling with the ball the whole time?
I know, unless they were in some kind of gyro thing inside. But no, I feel like when they went in there, they were just holding on to the thing. Well,
no, and they're holding on to each other, which, is kind of awkward. Like, if you're like, so like do they? Can you like? Is there like a certain amount of people they can fit in one ball at once? Like they all go like?
Oh, maybe that's why they couldn't travel together. Two person maximum. That's all you can do.
It just, they were better off doing something like Terminator Genesis, right? They had the spear and they could have like gone to something like that and they transport to whatever realm they need to go to. Fine. But they're rolling around like a hamster cage or whatever. It was just, to me, it was an awful choice. Awful.
All right. I got to bow to you. You're right.
Oh, he's in
Jax was in the first one. Very low on the bottom. He's just above. Wow. How about this? In the first movie, Frank Welker, who the voice of Scooby-Doo, about a million characters over the year. He was the voice of Reptile and Shao Kahn.
But they spoke? Reptile spoke?
Reptile spoke and Shao Kahn spoke in the first one. So Shao Kahn was in the first movie.
No, I know.
Shao Kahn was in the first movie.
Was he? Like he must have had the helmet.
So.
He must have wore the mask or something.
Because it was Shang Tsung was the first movie.
But Reptile
was the bad guy.
What did Reptile speak? He didn't speak. Unless he said finish him.
Well, maybe. Well, Scooby-Doo says some words, but maybe.
So you think that Reptile said "Rutro"?
Rutro Raggy. Oh, Scooby-Doo's in this, but no. So Jax is in this, and then I just saw something also on here. Our pal Peter Jason played Master Boyd in this movie.
Was
that? He in the tournament? I don't know.
He was probably like one of those guys that like in Bloodsport when they have like the side fights. He was probably one of the ones that Goro just like tore apart. Like because I think Goro did have a couple of fights before he fought like one of the main ones.
Yeah, he fought like nobody's and
that's what I mean. So maybe he was one of those guys, right? And okay, so if this budget was more than the first movie, Goro looked great in the first movie. Like his seriously, like where did the budget go in this movie?
Well, budgets are definitely like obviously the more money you think better, but it's who you hire. Like, remember, I'm not saying Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 had like a terrible budget. I really don't know offhand, but the fact that they were like, yeah, we're not going to use Jim Henson, and they used like a random company, and Tim Lawrence, the late great Tim Lawrence, who we interviewed, he said I was the one that was operating it. I knew it wasn't working right. But
okay, this movie, I would say. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle 3, which we make fun of the rat and all that stuff in that movie, looks like Star Wars compared to this movie. Okay, this movie seriously. I mean, even some of the really bad movies. I mean, and I'm going to go back to Terratoon. I feel like Terratoon's special effects were better than this movie, and like,
yeah, Joe's a master.
So I don't understand like. Just the sloppiness. It really looks so cheesy. And what's amazing is, and I know we've seen this probably in the past. You said you saw it already in the past. Like how dull were our eyes that we didn't. I mean, I know this is what movies look like back then. I guess but like.
Oh, I'm sure when we saw it, we probably looked at the like
I don't know.
Those scenes probably weren't. No, they weren't as crisp because the first one like you mentioned, like budgets. The first one was 20 million. This one was 30. But like,
but I don't think we looked at. I think we looked at it. It was like, oh, this looks cool. Like I don't think at the time, right? So I mean, like, what were we watching back then to say like, wow, this is really good? It's because I mean, it doesn't hold up at all.
Well, what's really crazy is we still again. I feel like it's like the par for the course is Jurassic Park, but you still watch Jurassic Park. It's unbelievable.
Oh, of course. I mean, it still looks
it's
incredible.
Crazy how great it looks still.
Listen, go to the ultimate. Go to Star Wars. I mean, that was in the 70s.
Yeah.
I mean, like this is so you're gonna. This is not even close. Like this is like, I don't know. I feel like Sweetums could have been in this movie.
Oh yes, that's why I was thinking of a Muppet movie.
Well, you made me think of Sweetums.
It's always a good thing about Sweetums, but this movie actually made money. Like, obviously, that's what you want to do when you make a movie, but the fact that it says it was a commercial failure, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, it made 21 million.
Okay,
like, it made 51. No, it made 51. So it made 21 over, which is like, you know what? I'd be cool with that.
Yeah,
like,
but
if I was
how much money could it have made? Because you made 51 based on the name alone, right? You made, so. I mean, clearly there aren't any big name draws in this movie. I mean, as much as Brian Thompson and what's his face who played Raiden, they were in a bunch of movies, but they weren't a big name draw back then.
Yeah.
And so like salary wise, they weren't really paying anyone a lot. I mean, so like, I don't know. Maybe
No,
the
CG.
sets
It
cost
probably
money?
all went to Yeah, it went to sets and CG. No, that's what it must have went to. And no, you're right. No, the thing that they lost out on was a third movie because they
Yeah.
made games after that. They had other characters that could have introduced, but for some reason with this movie, they just went with. They had
Was
a
this
lot of
rushed?
characters in
Like,
the
was this
games.
maybe rushed and that's what it was? Like,
Maybe this came out 2 years after the first one, so it could have been rushed. It could have been that. I just think they probably ran out of money. Maybe like they were doing the old like looking at dailies and like this doesn't look too good.
well, then
have to,
maybe
like,
they
cut
should
the
have
budget.
fired their accountant because, how do you run out of money in the second movie?
Well, that happened in Mel Brooks when he funded that like kind of like not spoof, but it was like a rip on Solar Babies, his movie that he funded.
What movie?
How did this? It's called Solar Babies.
Oh,
He
wait,
saw the movie.
that was a Mel Brooks movie?
Oh, dude. Okay. Well, after this, and listeners, you got to listen to the interview with Mel Brooks. It's on how did this get made. It's I'm sure you search it, you find it. It's 30-minute interview. He talks about how that movie almost had him living on the streets because they lost so much money. He had to basically like put his house, his car, everything against it. And luckily, I forget what studio it was, bought the rights to the movie after it was done.
When did it come out after, like, when did it come out after, like, any of his big
85,
movies?
84. It was his studio produced it. Like, that's when he had
Okay.
Brooks Films. So this
Wow.
is like
Okay.
after Mask and a few other movies. But no, great story. But he said it was funny about the movie that the fact that it didn't do well, obviously, but the people in it went on to do great things. Like, they were both in Lost Boys 3 years later. The main guy in Lost Boys,
Jason
Patrick.
Patrick.
Jason Patrick. And what's her name? The
Oh, yeah.
beautiful girl.
She's in every movie in the 80s, too.
I can't think of her,
yeah.
but
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I think these side stories are more interesting than the movie we watched.
no, well, they definitely are, but no, but so back to the movie, like we didn't even talk about some of the characters, like Katana, which her and Liu Kang are a thing in this movie. They're almost making out that ninjas fly down from the sky. But here's the thing we got to talk about because we mentioned it before. So how about the fact that like we mentioned about Liu Kang and we talked about like the Sub-Zero, like that fight scene a little bit, but how about that whole thing when the ninjas come and Smoke is there, and then we have like this one thing they used in this movie, which was kind of crappy. They only used it for the people that didn't really know how to fight, because Liu Kang's fights, and even Sonya Blade, she might have a martial arts background, or they had a stunt person that looked just like her, but everything was in normal speed, right? Katana,
I know.
why was it slow-mo? Everything that she did was slow-mo, and then we cut to Liu Kang in the same scene, sped up, cut back.
Yeah, but doesn't
Slow-mo.
Liu Kang have like a fast kick or something in the game?
Well, yeah, no, I mean like sped up. I mean like normal speed. Like
Yeah,
everything he did was normal to your eyes, but everything she did was slow-mo, even taking out her cool katana thing that looked like it was made out of plastic.
Okay, I mean, that thing that she takes out, which she barely uses,
Barely.
barely, and like, didn't it like light up? Wasn't it like lit up or something, or like?
It's very shiny, and then for the rest of the movie, she's in a birdcage.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just and why do villains do that all the time? They always like.
I was gonna add, that was a question I had. Why? Not for nothing. If you really think that people are gonna escape like from a normal cage on the ground, why are prisons just full of bird cages?
And every movie has a birdcage. All the villains
Everyone.
have a birdcage. They really do. And I mean, usually like there's like an opening underneath the birdcage so that like the opening drops and like they go down to like a fire pit or something,
That
or
makes
like
sense.
a shark tank. But this is just a birdcage up in the air. And how did they get it up there?
Well, they crank it because we see Liu Kang. He notices that that's how Shiva meets her demise. Is he perfectly throws that
that's right.
sword and he breaks
Okay.
it. But you know what's really funny is you're right. In that room, why don't they have the fire pit? For some reason, they have that fire pit in the meeting room where
Yeah.
they meet with everyone.
Yeah.
Because that's where like many people meet their demise. Even in that room, actually in the corner, there is a fire pit because Liu Kang kills somebody and throws him into the pit.
Wait, there's a lot of fire pits.
There is
I feel like a lot of people fall and just die immediately. Like they
Yeah.
disintegrate. Everyone that falls in that like fire pit on the side, they disintegrate.
Yeah,
And-
in second, it's like instead of a koi pond, they put in fire pits.
And I feel like you have a lot of these bad guys, these ninjas, they stink. Like it's like one hit and they're out. Like
Well, they're
some of
always
these
the
ninjas.
worst. They're like
Always.
stormtroopers.
Like, you know, like they and you always hear about in all these movies, like ninjas, like the toughest things around. They really aren't. I mean, I feel like these are the same ninjas that were like an American ninja. Like they really like it's like one punch and they go flying and they're done. Like they're all amateurs.
Whoa! When you're going to Joe Armstrong,
That's
who doesn't know where he doesn't know anything about his life. He doesn't know where he was trained. Or where he was
Joe
born.
Armstrong could have been in this movie, and he would have done a great job. Him and Jackson. I mean, you throw them in Mortal Kombat. Like, how great would that be if, like, in the game, you can like a hidden character is Armstrong and Jackson.
Oh, dude, if he didn't pass away, the late great Steve James,
he
could have been Jax.
Easily.
His arms, like when he took those things off,
He wouldn't need them. They would just put paint on him. He wouldn't need the metal arms.
yeah.
Although I did read the guy that played Jax was an American Gladiator.
Oh
on TV.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit! You know what's funny? So I when I talked to Margine, because she worked at Universal when Brian was at Universal, a lot of those guys that were in the Conan show were in American Gladiators. I wonder if he was one of them. So there was a lot of those early guys that were on there, like Laser.
Possible.
Blazer,
He's a big guy, but you know, and you know, back to Margine, that I'm still like, it's so annoying because like she looked better than the stupid. Who's the other guy with him with the horns? The senator.
Oh, you mean Minotaur?
Minotaur. I mean, like that was lame. Like I'd rather see, you know, her. She's like a mini Agoro, whatever. Like, you know, like
she
she
was
had
a
the forearms.
female Goro. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have loved to seen her fight. The Minotaur is lame.
They almost fought. That's what I thought. I was like, oh wait, she said her scene got cut because it was supposed to be like her and someone in Reptile, and Reptile's not even in this movie, which makes no sense. So Reptile, they showed us Reptile in the movie because he is that hologram creature that we see so much,
Right.
And then he's gone. Jax punches him the one time, and then we see him pop up and then he eats Jade's head in another scene, but then he never actually comes out to fight at all in this movie. They cut him out of the movie, and they never even mention his name. So if you're watching this movie and don't know the first one or know the other game, that's Reptile, but they never mention
it. And back to Margine. To me, I'd rather not even have her like in that scene than the way they did it, because they made her so lame by just killing her like in a second. Like if I was her, like I wish like that whole scene wasn't even in there, because it just made her look like a stupid character, you know. And there was so much more I wanted to see.
Like she's part of the main henchmen. So I think she's probably been in that room before. So I'm sure she realizes, let's not walk. It's a big room. Like, let's not walk under the giant birdcage.
Oh my gosh.
It makes zero sense. I don't even know where we are with this movie. Oh no. So the Sub-Zero. So Sub-Zero shows up. He saves Liu Kang and Katana when Scorpion shows up. I forgot what he does. He doesn't freeze him right away. What does he do?
He makes a bridge out of ice.
No, but he does something before the bridge, because we see Scorpion first, and then he saves him, right? And then he makes the bridge, but then Scorpion comes back.
Why? Okay, why is he helping them? Because if that's
Katana
Sub-Zero's brother,
key. Well, yeah, but Katana is the key to the So if Katana gets taken, somehow that makes so Shao Kahn basically says in the beginning of the movie, in 6 days this is gonna happen, no matter what, right? And then we find out that, oh well, maybe, but if Katana isn't with him, then we're fine. Oh no. And then Liu Kang decides to save Sub-Zero's brother, and then leaves Katana, and Scorpion takes her.
But okay, but isn't Sub-Zero and Scorpion sort of a monster? Like they're not are they human? Like
no. Scorpion's a creature. Sub-Zero's he's not a monster.
He's not.
He just somehow can shoot
in the game. He's not a monster.
Hands. No.
Oh, okay. That's human.
Scorpion,
yeah, that's human.
No, Scorpion can rip his.
Yeah,
head
I know.
off
He turns into the skeleton.
Yeah. Yep.
But Sub-Zero, you never see his face. I thought he was a monster, like a villain, because he's one of the villains. He doesn't speak, right? He didn't speak in the first movie. You don't think? Did he?
I don't remember, but I remember the way he died when he got oh yeah, Liu Kang threw a bucket of water on him, right? He was like getting ready to do his
Right.
thing. He threw the bucket of
Right.
water, and then he kicked
Right.
him, and he shattered. Right?
So wouldn't as the brother like be pissed?
Oh, I'd
Is
be
that-
so. But I know.
Like,
How do you
does he
save
really
the guy that
ca-
murdered your brother?
Yeah, and he seems the type that if he wanted to like join the team of Shao Kahn, whatever his name is, like he would let him join him. Like
Oh,
so,
no,
like
I know.
so he shouldn't be afraid of like whatever he's planning on doing. So like it makes no sense that he's helping them, because outside of maybe working with Shao Kahn, what is he doing like what does he do every day? Sub-Zero. Like, what does he care so much about saving this world that his life is going to change if this happens?
I don't
Does he
know.
have like a regular life? Like, does he have a home? Does he go to like
Does he have a 9 to 5? He's a telemarketer.
he works in the fish department in the supermarket.
That'd be a good job. Oh no,
We're low on
he
ice. Can you
works- he works. He does that, or he like works in like cooling and refrigeration. So you call him to the house, like, oh my god, my central air is broken, and he just goes,
But I mean, like seriously, like he shouldn't care. He should not care at all about what is going to happen. And like the fact that he's helping them, and the fact that he takes his mask off and he just looks like a dork, like under
Oh, I
there.
know.
That
he looked like what's his name? That I who's a really good actor, but is a really good nerd.
you know what he looked like? He looked like what's his name? We interviewed him. From karate, the next karate. The
Oh, he did
Karate-
like Michael.
He did.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's his last name?
yes,
Yeah.
he looked like the
He
villain
looked
in the next Karate Kid.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say Jason Schwartzman. Kind of look like him.
Sort
I'm
of.
like he kind of like, and then he just had the scar in his eye. But no, here's the thing I want to ask you is like when you watch these movies when they're really doing stunts, like we've seen so many movies and heard so many stories about like bad things happening. When he makes the bridge and him and Scorpion are fighting on the bridge, when that bridge breaks, that looks so uneasy because it like when they showed like this faraway shot, it looked like it was like really a drop. And you saw the bridge break, and there was one part that it moved a little bit, and both the actors like did like a holy shit. They like stopped their fighting stance and they went to like wide stance, like okay, let's try to survive this. But their fight scene was like it was like cool the way they went underneath, and I'm like, oh, this is like not terrible. But I wanted one ultimate fight scene, like when we watched one of the earlier sequels we did, the Stallone Escape Plan 3.
Yeah.
Like it was like a really like sort of a slow movie in a way. And then the end of the movie, we got an awesome fight scene. And like there was just not one of them in this movie. Like not one that we could say, you know what? The movie sucked, but you know what? We got one.
No, all the fights are quick. They were very quick fight scenes. I would say this to me, the Sub-Zero and Scorpion fight was the best. Just because they are like the two favorite characters. It was cool, but like again, it was an unnecessary fight. That like it really was not necessary. They shouldn't have been in there in the first place. They're just trying to bring. I don't know. I like why is like if Scorpion is. I thought they both were on the same team in the first place. Like they didn't fight in the first movie, right? They were part of the villains that were fighting the good.
Well, remember, this is Sub-Zero's brother. Maybe he doesn't believe in the same things.
That's true, because he is a refrigerator.
Yeah, he's a refrigerator salesman. But how about Sub-Zero? How quickly he changes. Like after that, when Scorpion takes him, he looks at Liu Kang. He goes, "It's they have her. It's over." Okay, Liu Kang, just give up.
Okay, and he's able to do all these flips and everything, but he can't pull himself up. That Liu Kang has to help him.
Oh, I know.
He can't flip
that
up.
He
He
can't
can't
like hanging over the edge.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, well, again, he's not Sub-Zero, so he's like like the younger brother who somehow has the same powers, but just not as fluent as Sub-Zero.
Yeah, does that run in the family, or is that the outfit or the gloves or something? The fact that he can create like ice.
Yeah, and okay, why didn't he use it against Scorpion? Or maybe he's like the Iceman. He can only like make objects out of ice. You can't use it.
Oh,
as
I
a
think you
weapon.
meant like I think you meant like he was like the ice maker in your house. Like every 5 minutes, it makes ice cubes. Every 5 minutes, you hear that annoying sound. You hear.
So dumb.
Oh my god! No, but then like it was cool seeing some of the other characters, not like like Cyrax, I didn't like. I like playing with him, I guess, because like him.
Who's that, the robot one?
Yeah, he had the missiles. Yeah, he had the missiles come out of him. He was cool to play with in the game, but I did like his robotic voice. He walked into the room after he like blew the doors open, and he goes, "Death is the only way." I'm like, because he's like full robot, and Jax is like badass, and he goes, "I'll take homeboy," and then after he gets kicked on the ground, his next line is, "Can we talk about this?" I'm so tough until you punch me, then I'm like done.
The lines in this movie are just awful. I mean, I forget what's her name says. She goes, "You lost Katana and you picked up her," when he meets the other girl. Like that was a line. There was another line. I think said, "Who are you?" I think it was it the wolf or something? And no, I think she goes, "Wouldn't you like to know?" Like that's a creative line to have in a movie. Wouldn't you like to know? That's like a third grade comeback. Wouldn't you like to know?
Yeah. No, and she has one earlier too when in the beginning of the movie, Raiden goes, "You have to band together because if you work together, you can do this." And everybody walks forward and she doesn't. And under her breath, she goes, "We couldn't even save Johnny." Like a little kid, like, yeah, we couldn't do this.
And nothing. I mean, she showed a little remorse for it. No one else seemed like disturbed that like their close friend just died.
Oh, I know. Yeah. And the fact that when he died was kind of, we didn't talk about it too much, but the fact that it was like, you thought it was going to be like him. I thought he was going to get kidnapped. No, his neck was snapped. And I love how they showed how he died. Even before he died, they were like sort of foreshadowing it when his glasses fell off.
Oh, yeah.
And they hit the ground in slow mo. And then they had like this glimmer to it. And I'm like, is he going to die right now? Yeah. He died.
Yeah, he died. And again, we discussed this very easily, you know. So
Very
you're telling me
easily.
he's stronger than Goro, that guy? Shao Kahn?
I guess so.
Okay.
But this is where she did that kill. So I guess in that medical facility, they have something, a powder flammable that she was able to blow at Cyrax because that's what happened.
So could she only use it like once, the kiss? Like if she doesn't have the powder, the kiss doesn't work?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
I guess that's how it works. But it was funny, like we talked about it before, like when they had the bad guy meeting and like the one guy who was the general. And I love that Brian Thompson had like a very comical hammer. It looked like a carnival hammer for like to test your strength. And when he said, "Yeah, well, you're not going to be," he almost said like something like, "Not like you're going to be not going to be leading the army anymore." But it was like such a silly line, like somebody getting fired at a job. And then he hits him, he flies into the air, lands in the fire, and then he's gone.
Again, and that fire is like the most powerful thing because everybody dies instantly. Yeah. And then he threatens. Doesn't he threaten Margine? Doesn't he threaten Margine because she wanted to go? Or
yeah, I don't know if he. Yeah, maybe he said something to Oh no, all of them wanted to be the general, and he trash talked every single one of them, and then he chose the screamer.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god! And then so then we get the whole. We talked a little bit about Nightwolf, like and the animality, which was in the third game, and they were talking about. Somebody's probably listening. They're like, "Doug, it's in the second game." The second game.
You know, we're gonna get some of those comments and
somebody
putting us in our place.
Yeah, no, and rightfully so. But so in that game, it was in that scene when he goes, "Well, I did win Mortal Kombat," and Nightwolf like, yeah, okay. It was like that's kind of a big deal if it's once every 30 years. Like if the Olympics were like every 30 years and you won a medal, it's like, wow, you're pretty great.
Yeah, but did he really win Mortal Kombat? Because nothing changed.
Oh, that is
so
true.
It was almost like it was like fake Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
It wasn't the real Mortal Kombat.
Oh, and I was wrong. I think it's in the second game.
So you've been wrong twice now.
Wow, yeah. In the second game, they introduced that.
Okay, you're wrong twice today.
Is in the second game.
That's soon. So Babyality was in the third game?
Animality was in the oh wait, no. Animality as a finisher debuted in the third game, so I am right. Okay. So whoever's listening, they were probably like, yeah,
fine. Oh, you're only wrong once.
Boom. Thank you. Right. Allows the victorious player's character to turn into an animal to viciously maul the defeated opponent. Boom. And then Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 had the Babyality. And
Okay,
it was down,
so-
down, forward, low kick.
Now, did that turn someone into a baby, or did you turn into a baby who killed?
Ooh, I think you turned into a baby and you killed the person as a baby.
That's so weird.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't remember. I just remember seeing a baby. I don't remember.
I'm gonna try this later. Down, down, forward, low kick.
Wait, you're gonna download the game?
Yeah, I'll play it on an emulator online. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just Google Mortal Kombat 3 emulator. Boom.
Oh, really? What, are you playing
Yeah,
your phone or are you playing a computer?
On the computer. Oh, dude, all the time I play Ken Griffey Baseball, NBA Jam Tournament Edition all the time.
Really? Why don't you get like a thing that it comes with like 50 Sega games? It's like $50. You can just plug it into your TV.
That's $50. I'll play for free on the computer. As much as I do play it, the only game I do like playing often is Die Hard on PlayStation 1, even though it's impossible to play because playing a game that has like, you know, R1 and R2, like on PlayStation, is such a pain in the ass. But those games are pretty easy because it's really just running around shooting and jumping. You got to play Die Hard. You ever play it?
No. Does he have any lines from the movie?
No. Yeah. He says yippee-ki-yay a lot in the game.
He does?
No, but for Die Hard 1, all listeners, if you have never played Die Hard on PlayStation, it's one of the greatest games ever. The Die Hard 1 you could play in the game. There's the 3 movies. The first one, you're running around as like a third-person shooter throughout Nagatomi. Like you go from the first floor up. Yeah, that's how you beat the game. Second one is a first-person shooter, and it sucks on the computer, but with a joystick, it's cool. You shoot around the screen. It's like one of those shooting games. Then the third one, you're in a car. You're in the car, and you're driving around doing driving missions. It's pretty cool. First one you just play, it's fun.
You just type in Die Hard emulator, and it'll come up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Die Hard plays PS1 emulator.
I'll have to look into it.
I know what you're doing tonight. So that's how you do that. So if you listeners, emulators are cool. You don't have to download them anymore. Back in the day, you had to download them. Big pain in the ass. You had to load them, save them, all on the computer now.
Okay. Again, this seems more fun than
it does
watching this movie.
It kind of does, yeah. So then we get what happens now? Oh no! Now this is when they're like walking in the desert, right? This is when the horse. But this is where he's having like the ayahuasca. It's almost like Nightwolf drugged him, but instead of drugging him, he threw an axe at his head, but it hit the blunt end and knocked him out. Because then he had like this fever dream of Jade, which, dude. So the fact that you thought it was a fever dream, but it was real, and she's wearing like nothing. And then in seconds, she changes into her green outfit, which I like Jade in the games, but it's like.
I didn't like her character in the movie. I thought she was
No, it was so corny because I know everyone knew that she was phony when she goes, oh, well, guys, I know a secret tunnel we can take.
Yeah, right off the bat, like, I mean, like they didn't even try to, it's almost like they didn't even try to hide it. It was, I'm telling you, I feel like there was no script and there was just a lot of improv and like, it just seems so amateurish. And I think that was part of it. I mean,
They're wandering the desert. Jackson, Sonya Blade are wandering the desert. But when she says the line I wrote down, she goes, all the plants are dying. Our realms are merging. And I'm like, and Jackson's really not panicking yet. And I'm like, wouldn't this be crazy that every plant on Earth is dying right now? And nobody cares.
They're in the desert though, aren't they?
Yeah, but still, like all the cactuses, everything's black. So that was probably like CG that they did over that, but it looks so ridiculous. And then this one, Sonya fights. Who's she fighting?
Well, there was a bunch of ninjas that come out. Isn't it?
They're fighting ninjas, but she's fighting I'm trying to think what character
wasn't there.
Was in the game.
What didn't a monster come out?
Well, that's no. The monster came out afterwards, and that's who Jack's punch. No, she was fighting somebody that. I don't know if it was a character from the game, but it was like an outfit like Scorpio and Sub-Zero, but it was red. She was fighting that character, but no. And then he punched.
Yeah, but he didn't have any. He didn't have any special
nothing.
powers.
Yeah, I don't know who it was. I don't know why they would dress him like that.
Yeah, it was just like a regular, okay. So he had like a regular outfit, like you're thinking he's gonna do something, but it was nothing.
Oh no, it was a girl. Was it? Oh no, she fought a girl.
No, there was another red outfit. It looked like something.
No, there was the girl. No, you're right. There was a red outfit, but there was a girl that she fought there because she goes katana because she was fighting with like Raphael, like what Raphael has in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Sith. No, is it?
No, it is
Scythe?
like a katana. They're katanas.
No, but it's called something else, like Scythe or Sith or
No,
something
a
like
scythe
that.
is like what the Grim Reaper carries. No,
Well,
he
it's
was
something
carrying.
like
Yeah, no, but then she's like, no, I don't even know who she was in the game, but it was so funny the fact that she was like katana. She's like, no, and then they were fighting, and then they started wrestling in the mud, and Jax goes, "You look good in mud," and I'm like,
I know, yeah.
what's happening?
And doesn't she look clean after that?
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
well, she did say I gotta. Didn't she say I gotta find a river to clean off or something like that?
Oh yeah, that's right. So she
Okay,
dove
but-
in the desert. She
I was
found
gonna
a
say
river?
she's in the desert. What river is she finding?
Yeah. Holy shit, man. He's and yeah, dude. Jax is like super horny. Because remember when he sees Jade for the first time?
He puts his
How
arm
she
around her.
kicks-
Wait, doesn't
He
he
puts
put?
his arm around her, but he goes,
Yeah.
"You got a great set of legs."
Yeah.
Dot for kicking.
Well, I mean, in Jack's defense, I mean, how long was he? Well, really, if he was in the first movie, he was only in that coma thing for a day, not even a day, because this literally happened after the tournament of the first one. So really,
Yeah.
how long was Jax in there?
I don't think it's long enough for his palms to get hairy. I think he was fine. I think he was fine at this point.
He had hairy palms.
No, but
Okay, I get you.
okay. I hope so. And then we get like the purple lady, like Katana's mom with her scream. The dumbest part of this movie. You ready? The dumbest part of this movie. And I hate talking about movies like this.
Hold on, this is a stretch because there's a lot of dumb parts in this movie.
Yeah, when Raiden goes to the Elder Gods, and they go, as you know, Raiden, you get 3 questions. And when he asked the one, so I counted, he asked 5 questions because within it, he asked follow-up questions, and I don't know if they count. But when the elder guy was like done talking and didn't even finish answering, he's like, "But why do you?" And I'm like, "Is that a question? Does that count as a question?"
And why only 3 questions?
I
Like
don't
what?
understand.
Like what? It's not like a genie. Like a genie. All right, you get 3 wishes, you know, and
You're right.
Like all he is doing is asking a question. So like, what's their problem that he can't ask more than 3 questions?
I know.
Like if he asks the 4th question, and the 4th question is better than the first question, do they keep the 4th question and get rid of the first question?
Oh, could you imagine? Like, well, you know what? The first one was really dumb. He asked us what time it was. Does that count?
Like they pick the best 3. You can ask as many questions you want, but you only get 3 that really count. And
Yeah, only 3 will answer. But no, it's just so dumb. And then when he comes out, he has short hair, and he sees all the other guys, and then that's when Brian Thompson and the horse-driven army is behind, and then he goes to Katana's mom. Can you scream? She uses her scream, which is a cool scene because everything falling looked pretty legit, but everything was falling, and then it was like past them.
Yeah.
So it didn't fall near them. It went past them for a second and then came back. And then that's when he uses the last bit of power to open Outworld. And then when they go into Outworld, we see the Golden Gate Bridge floating.
Yeah. Okay. Before we get there, so let's talk about this for a second. So the fact that he had that short blonde hair, it was like
I don't
the
understand.
dumbest. He looked like Eminem. Like he would just say came out.
Mortals can't have long hair?
It just okay. And if he couldn't have long hair, it also changes the color of the hair. Like let's just say he can't have long hair, but for whatever reason, fine. You still should have gray hair and like, you know, so short. Like, so if you want to give him the crew, like it would have looked better if he came out there with the same hairstyle, but gray. Fine. Okay. Like, you know, but it looked like he literally
his
went
hair
to
should
like,
be gray. Yeah. His hair should be gray.
yeah, not blonde, like bleached
I know.
blonde. So he basically went to a salon before he got there, and he looked like he was like, even his outfit, like it looked like he went shopping for like clothes to like if he was trying to blend in as like a tourist, he that's what he tried to do as much as possible to try to fit in as a, like whatever ridiculous. But the scream thing, so okay, the scream is cool and she can destroy mountains and everything else. Why is she starting to scream far away that it works its way to where they are? Like, it's like, if she can control the scream like that, why not aim it right where they are so it automatically falls on top of them?
agreed, and I'll raise you the fact that she is under mind control of Shao Kahn, so her allegiance is to him. So really, she should not care about her own well-being. When they were in that room later in a few scenes, and she was that close to everyone, why didn't she scream then?
Right.
And kill everyone.
And if she steps like on a Lego and she screams,
ooh,
does like if she's in a house, would that like destroy the house that she's in?
They gotta move. Yeah.
They get okay. So like so it's a scream that like it's like no matter like if she screams, it's going like can she control the scream, or is it just whatever's in the area?
Maybe a gag. Like her husband or whatever lover she has that night shakes him from the bar. She has to tell him before and be like, "Don't be that good."
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like, so she's got to be quiet all the time.
She's got to be quiet all the time. Yeah.
Okay.
She's got to use like a ball gag.
Like, I mean, like, so, like,
not...
if she had children and she's yelling at her kids, well, all right, honey, we got to make new kids. You know, I mean, no matter what, like, having that power that you can't control like that, that's not a good thing.
Yeah, like you're delivering the baby. Push. Ah! Doctor's dead. She has to do it herself.
The entire hospital's gone. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
So she can't go to like a football game and cheer and yell.
Oh, she can't like anything. She
can't have fun. She literally can't have fun. She can't do anything.
She has to be like, whoa. That's it. That's her level of excitement for anything.
Okay.
She's on like a game show. She wins Price is Right. She wins the
Yay.
showcase.
Yay.
Drew Carey or Bob Barker's like, come on, get excited. And they're like, you don't want me to. And she does get excited. And then the show's canceled. Bob Barker.
She's in an argument with someone and they're yelling at each other. And then she has to say, well, you're wrong. You're the one that was cut me off. You know who that remind me of? Hooks. Police Academy. Calm, and then when she blows, but
like
she
Hooks,
screams though. She does scream.
That's what I mean. So then that would have been like the Hooks. If she had that power, boom. Then
they should have. You know what? They should have given Hooks that power.
Hooks should have it, man. She was the best.
Ridiculous. But okay. But again, bottom line is there's no reason why she couldn't control that scream to like it literally looked like it was working its way up to where they were. Like that again, if you have that power, what's the distance? Like what's the radius that it covers? That it has to start from where she is.
I know.
And then work its way back. Like does it go is there an endpoint? You know, like so yeah.
Yeah, like why didn't Shao Kahn kill her for misaiming the scream? Because he has Jade's head eaten by that like terrible CGI creature for not really anything bad. She got Liu Kang. She told Liu Kang where the secret tunnel was. Why wasn't Shao Kahn sitting in a chair waiting for him to come in?
Yeah,
they knew he was gonna take that, but he wasn't. He didn't follow through on the plan. He told her, "Hey, he's going to be going to here." Okay, great. And he wasn't there.
Dumb.
Made no sense. He took the tunnel that was huge.
Yeah.
It wasn't really. Well,
honestly, it looked like a tunnel where the rolling ball was. Maybe the ball only goes one way and you have to walk back.
Yeah, maybe.
So when you want to go somewhere, the ball will take you, but you're on your own on the way back. It drops you off.
Oh my god! Yeah, so then we talked about him the fight with Barack in this scene, and he kicks him into the corner. Like, yeah, the mask didn't look good. It was cool. The blades. I remember his blades being so cool in the game, but no, he just kicks in the corner. He's done.
This looks like looked like rubber blades he had. Like he looked like Beast. He looked like Beast Man from He-Man.
Yeah, he did.
Like I really think Master of the Universe was better CGI than this movie.
Oh yeah, no, there was definitely no. Again, with this movie, I really think they just hired the wrong person, the wrong people, the wrong company. I don't know who they used in the first one, but they could have been like, you know what, we're gonna find somebody cheaper, and then that's what happened.
I'd be curious to see what movie that company, whatever company did like the special effects for this one,
CGI, yeah.
The next movie they did, and I'm curious, you know, like did they go on a path of just making bad movies? You know, like CGI, or like did they get better? And like you find out like these are the same company that did Avatar.
Could you imagine that? Oh my god, dude! And then I guess really nothing much else happened. It seemed Shiva like again met a terrible death. The fact that she was walking and then she gets tripped up underneath, which is so terrible, man. She could have had a fight scene, especially that Margine was like a real martial artist, stunt woman. She could have done like so much, but no.
Oh no, it would have been really cool to see like her fight. I mean, and yeah, I mean, what was the point then? Like if they bring in Barack or whatever his name is, to fight for 2 seconds, they should have just had Shiva fight instead. Like I'd rather see that fight than Barack.
No, you're right. I think I found the company. So I think the company's name. There's a few different ones that I'm seeing. See, I think that's the problem. I think they had too many people that they've tried because it's so weird. Whenever you look at companies, like it'll be like one company that does visual effects, but this one is like Flat Earth Productions.
Well, because they know they did such a bad job that no one's going to hire them, so they had to change the name quickly, and so they can get another job.
No, this is no.
That's what they did.
Optical Illusions, Hollywood Digital, and these are two people doing the same job.
Okay, Optical Illusion sounds like such a phony.
Oh, it does. Right. Exactly what it is. It's an optical illusion.
Right. That's what I mean. So I'm telling you, I bet you, like, they did such a bad job. Like, you'd never get hired again. All right, what are we going to do? Let's change our name and start.
You're going to laugh your ass off. The guy so it was Metro Light Studios. He actually did the first one, which is really shocking.
Okay.
Virtuosity, Total Recall.
Whoa. Listen, Total Recall still holds up. Like, I mean, like the special effects are pretty good in that movie, except for like some of the ends, like the Mars stuff. But I still think like they did a good job on that one. So like this is like
Metro Light this studio, Jason Goes to Hell, Batman Forever.
Didn't that have like
Siege 2?
Didn't that have cheesy like lightning in Jason Goes to Hell? Like with
well, no, it had a really cool end scene. Somehow there was Happy Gilmore. So I don't know if this is the right guy to look up for the actual like work on it, but there was a company called Digital Magic, so maybe that was a company that actually did like work. But that guy ended up working on a bunch of stuff. Yeah, this guy worked on a lot of post visual effects, Aquaman, Creed 2, The Bourne Legacy.
Okay, the fact that he's still making movies, he definitely improved on it because I mean. He should have been fired after this movie.
Yeah,
he should have been banned.
Dr. Dolittle.
He should have been banned in Hollywood.
So I wonder where it went wrong. But no,
it went wrong when they handed a script out and said, "Let's make Mortal Kombat 2." That's where it went wrong.
I just wish all the people more to the game, even if they rehashed the same story in a different way. Okay. I guess they couldn't really, right? Because it would make sense. Because if it's once in a generation tournament. So how could you have a sequel? In a way, right?
They made Bloodsport Part 2.
Yeah, but that's not that's a yearly tournament.
I thought it was like
well, according to Frank Dukes, who it's somehow like 400 million and 0 against people.
Okay, but so they listen. Even if I don't think it would matter to the audience if they said, you know what, we changed the rules. We're having Mortal Kombat yearly, and let's do the same thing. People would have liked the movie. I
agree. That's what I mean. They should have done that and not done this like outworld shit. It should have been like this is how the movie should have been, and this is where this review's gotten to. That we're gonna like just change the movie, but this is what the movie should have been. You know what? Shao Kahn talked to the Elder Gods, and he wants to have the tournament this year, and whoever wins it, then this will actually be the whatever. Fine, do the same friggin' movie and have Shao Kahn be the villain at the end, but have a tournament again. There shouldn't have been this walking around of this like desolate earth that I don't know. There's just nobody. There's not enough people in the movie.
Well, and that I think made it look cheesier because they had this because they were going to this different like worlds and desolate earth. They needed the backdrop and everything, and so like it like them walking in the desert on horses. It reminded me of like Planet of the Apes. How that was filmed, how cheesy, like when you see them on the horses, it's just like, again, back in that time, 70s or whatever, that looked, pretty bad. but that's what it looked like. It looked so cheesy looking. They could have easily said, like, you know what, Shao Kahn is a previous champion from, you know, years ago, and he wants to come back and get a chance to, you know, and because he's like the main winner, he gets a choice to do it again or something like that. And that, I think, would have worked. I just think, like you said, I agree with you. I don't know. It was so sloppy, and I just think it was just awful. It really, really was.
Yeah.
It was hard to watch. It really was. I was
we're
almost embarrassed. I was almost embarrassed watching it for the people that put this out there, because that's how it is. It's very embarrassing.
Yeah, no, I agree, and it's really like I always try to find some silver lining.
No,
and there was just not. The only thing that was a silver lining in this movie that there was 12 minutes of credits, so that saved us 12 minutes to watch it. Because I hate saying this because I know obviously people are working on this movie. Like there's people that do lighting, electrical, like catering. There's so many people that go in. So I'm happy they had work and they made money. But just as a viewer, it's just like, I don't know why they went in this direction of, hey, we're going to have these fight scenes look very video gamey the way they look, but they're not going to be like really the way in a tournament fighting. It's just going to be like walking around the world. That was it.
Listen, every chef once in a while makes a bad meal.
Oh,
you know, so the people, you know, yes, we feel bad anytime and I do a lot of bashing of movies, and I feel bad for anyone involved.
No.
You know, I don't want them taking it personally, because, you know, you might be nice in real life, but you made bad choices picking this movie, you know. And I think, you know, a big sign to me is that you have pretty much a lot of nobodies in the first movie, you know, even, you know, what's his name's wife. I don't think she was a big actress then.
Yeah, she was like, you know, sort of. Christopher Lambert was a big deal to be in the first role.
Okay, but he
was
wasn't
coming off Highlander 2.
However, he wasn't in the movie that long. You know, he was only like in the beginning, I think, and then at the end.
That's true.
So he wasn't in it a lot. So everybody else, you know, they weren't really big. So the fact that most of the cast from the first movie decided not to be in the second one, that should have been a red flag right there. You know,
yeah, I wonder what that was. I couldn't find anything online. I don't know if it was like they wanted too much money or.
I think it was just they realized like this movie looks like crap and I don't want to be a part of it. They made the right choice.
Yeah.
Because even if they were in it, it wouldn't have changed anything. Because, you know, I mean, the acting in this movie is not as good as the acting in the first movie. I think it's a little shoddy. However, you know, even if you put great actors in there, if you put Tom Cruise and Matt Damon in this movie, it's still going to be crappy because of the special effects. Tom Cruise, Johnny Cage.
But he'd be dead. I guess they could afford that. They could afford that. Half a
listen,
day.
Listen, doesn't Seagal die in an executive decision in like 2 seconds?
He does, yeah.
Okay, so you can do that once in a while. It's okay.
That is true, yeah. So it's so crazy how, like, the movie is super short. I think it's only like an hour and 22 minutes.
It didn't feel like that.
Oh, no, it felt
longer.
really long.
It felt long.
So like we're almost at the last scene, but just before we talked about like Jade and how we knew right away like she was gonna be bad. The way she's like, the secret tunnel. With her reveal, she says the line again, talking about bad line. She goes, "You were tricked, and it was so easy." That's her line in this movie. She says that.
But were they tricked? Because the whole point was they wanted to kill Shao Kahn anyway.
Well, they were tricked into. Yeah, that's what makes no sense because they were really like, so they were definitely tricked, and Jade was. Well,
they were tricked, but they made their job easier because their whole point was to get to him anyway.
Yeah. No, but it was dumb that she said that because they already took the secret tunnel, got in there, saved Katana, and then she goes, "You were tricked," but they really weren't. Sindel was knocked out and she was pretending to sleep, and then she woke up and she was evil again, and she
from a kiss though, right? She woke up by a kiss.
Oh, well, Katana, yeah, her daughter kissed her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, they couldn't have come up with a better way to do it.
Yeah.
A kiss. That's
a tickle? Like you tickle her toes? Tickle her feet? Better than kissing
I would not risk tickling her because if she like yells loud because she's like tickling,
screams, you're done.
Everybody's dead. So yeah. So.
God, what a great that'd be a great superhero, like in a superhero. Like if they did a movie about like I guess like that show they have. I never watched it on Amazon, like the bad superheroes.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
But they should have a scream like that, and her thing she has to be very timid, like a Hooks, like just like Hooks, and then she blows once an episode.
blows.
Well, it is rated R. So, yeah.
Okay.
Her nose.
Oh my gosh.
Superman.
So she can't sneeze. She can't sneeze loud.
She can't.
Like, does a loud sneeze count as a scream?
I've heard some atomic sneezes. I had a buddy that sneezed like that, and I always thought he was like faking. It was
No,
like,
I sneeze like that now, and my kids think I'm faking it, and I'm not. So
You're
I
really
think when you
throwing
get
your
older,
back out
you'll
every
see.
time you sneeze.
It's a dad thing, because I've seen a bunch of like videos, like whatever, TikTok or whatever, and they're talking about the dad sneezes, and a lot of dads have loud yelling sneezes, and I think it's like when you get over 40, I think the sneezes just turn into yells.
That's what happens. Is that like the TikTok like dad sneeze challenge? It's like kids filming their dad sneezing, throwing like powder in the nose.
I guarantee you look up dad sneezing on TikTok, you're gonna find a whole bunch of videos.
I hope it's just that, and there's not some other thing that is. But,
There was a
no,
girl at my old job that she used to sneeze like Michael Jackson, and like it was a squeaky sound. It was literally like every time she sneezed, it sounded like that. So if you're listening, that was her.
She's
Yeah.
listening. She's like, Jamie remembers my sneeze. Oh my god. So yeah, no. So that's what made no sense. The fact that Jade was like celebrating a victory, which there was no victory because she led them to get Katana. She was saved. Katana gets saved. Then they run out because they sort of fight for like a second, but then they don't. And then she goes back, and then she gets eaten by the 3D creature that Shao Kahn puts on her.
I mean, like she literally, it's her fault that the good guys won.
Yeah.
In reality.
And then the whole dumb thing about like the dragon tattoo that Raiden had, and then when like each time we didn't even talk about it, but each like bad person when they died,
Firefly comes off, or whatever, or the dragonfly comes off.
Yeah, a little dragon flies off of them. And you're like,
So
okay,
dumb.
What's happening?
I know, it's so dumb. I mean, yeah, you know, I'm glad we didn't talk about it because it just like again, it was just forget it. I can't.
And then Raiden gets killed. How about that? He goes to his brother
In
and
like
his
2
dad.
seconds. In 2 seconds. This is like the most powerful good guy, and
well,
he
he's
literally
not powerful anymore. That's the thing, because he's immortal, and his dad goes, would you choose mortals over us?"
I get it. However, aren't they all mortal?
Well, that's a great question. It's called Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
I don't think Scorpion's immortal.
Well, clearly he is because he came back in the second movie.
But he would be immortal, which means you live forever.
Yeah, but maybe mortal is that. Mortal is because.
Yeah,
go ahead.
No, I'm saying mortal is like what you and I are. Like
Correct.
Mortal Kombat is people that are alive that are fighting. Immortal are people that live forever.
Correct. But that's what I'm saying. So like the fact that Raiden is mortal now, everybody's mortal. So like you're gonna tell me like he's only as tough when he's not immortal. You know, he has all these powers, but when he becomes like mortal, then he's just like a regular dude that can't do anything.
Well, for him, yeah, no, he's a regular dude. He's just a regular bro.
Well, that's what he looks like.
I know.
He looks like he looks like he's from California. You know, with the blonde hair. I think he has a vest on or something or whatever. And like, so you're gonna tell me he has no fighting ability whatsoever?
I don't think so. I don't think he has anything now because he gets shot by the ball from his brother. He gets shot by and then they reveal something that we have no idea what it means. He goes, Shao Kahn looks at him. He goes, "You should have killed me when you had the chance." And I'm like, we don't know that. We don't remember a flashback moment. They didn't show us as the audience, unless in the first one I'm missing something, that he had the opportunity to kill Shao Kahn. Which
I don't even remember Shao Kahn in the first one. He was in the first. I don't remember.
Frank Welker was the voice. Maybe at the very end of the movie they teased this movie. I don't remember. Last time I saw the first one was probably 1995. So, but maybe that was what they did. I don't know.
Wait, you saw this one last year, but the other one was 1995?
No, I saw the original in 95, and I saw the sequel when it came out. The last time I watched this one, no, I just saw this really for the first time, really, that I remember.
So you didn't remember it being this awful?
I remember it being very different, but as a kid, a movie's a movie, you know? Like when you're a kid, you watch a movie, and you're like, "Oh, it's a movie," you know.
Well, that's
Cool
what I mean.
World,
like,
to me,
I think
the coolest movie ever. I watched Cool World 2 years ago, and I go, "What am I doing?"
That doesn't hold up.
Oh, not at all. And even Michael Grace, our pal Michael Grace, agreed to, and he wrote the movie. So
That's awesome.
I can say that and not feel bad. But how about the end fight scene? You have obviously like Shao Kahn versus Liu Kang, and you have who is it? Oh, Jax versus Mr. Ed, which is a funny line.
So stupid.
Katana versus her mom, and then Sonya goes, "I'll take the other one," because there was one left.
So like, and again, they do this in movies all the time. They always put the female against the female? Why couldn't Sonya take on the horse guy?
I think so. She took on Cyrax.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
Pretty good job.
If anything, I would have totally put her against one of the better guys, because I feel like I mean, based on what she did in the first movie, she could have taken on anybody.
And she fought the most in this movie. She fought.
Yes.
I think she took out minus ninjas, but main characters from the game. I think she took out at least 3 or 4 and beat her mama pretty good.
Yeah. I agree.
Oh my god! And then this is the scene where Jack takes his arms off.
Again, I mean, how dumb is that? Seriously, I mean, it would have been better if like his arm got knocked off and he's got now one arm and he's got to fight him with one arm, and you can see like the wires sticking out from like the arm that it came off. But the fact that it came off like gloves makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah. Oh, does that make absolutely no sense, or the fact that he punched him? I've seen horses before. Okay, horses' penises are usually in the back, and he punched him like in the front. Okay, and the reaction of the Minotaur was like he got punched in the neck.
Wait a second. He is half human, so you're assuming he's got the horse junk. But he could have the human
That's
junk.
a great question. What do they have? If you're a half,
right,
half man, half horse, it'd be terrible if you have that opportunity. You're half man, half horse, and you get the human for that.
Well, let me ask you this: if you're half human, half horse, do you find horses attractive?
Nay. I would think you have to.
Because
I don't know. There has to be urges,
I feel
right?
like the half human, half horse, they almost come across more horse, like overall, than human.
Yeah,
because it's usually like the chest up. That's it. But the whole body is normally horse. So like I would be curious, like, would you find like you go to a farm, you're like that's a beautiful horse, and like like and you find the horse more attractive.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyone who's listening who's half horse.
If you're a Minotaur or a Centaur, what's the difference between a Minotaur and a Centaur?
That's a good question.
That is a great question.
Google.
Minotaur versus Centaur. Wow, and that came up. Minotaur was a being that had a head and a tail of a bull with the body of a man. Contrastingly, the Centaur had the upper body of a man and the 4 legs of a horse. That's what he is. He's a Centaur.
Did you ever see the movie Time Bandits?
No.
Oh, you never saw that movie?
No.
Oh, you ever hear of it?
No. Is it a good movie?
It's about and I'm going to try to describe this the proper way.
Oh, 1981. What, Sean Connery, John Cleese?
Well, yeah. Well, Sean Connery's in it, like very short,
Okay.
small. I don't want to say short, but
I can read the thing. A young boy accidentally joins a band of time traveling dwarves as they jump from era to
people
era,
that are
looking for treasure.
And they go across like time, like because they're traveling. Again, it's a classic movie, like probably a cult movie. But my point is, there's a scene where they're talking to this girl on I think it's on a boat, and the girl's husband is a Minotaur, he's walking around like a human, but he's a bull, like he looks like a bull head, and yeah. So that's what I thought of right away. You would like Time Bandits. You got to see it. It's they meet Robin Hood. They go around.
That's all.
Yes.
The guy who directed it is or wrote it is one of the Monty Python guys.
I think there's a scene with all those guys in it. Oh yeah, I think
really
might be the Robin Hood scene. It's actually funny. It's a good movie. It's a you should watch it.
I'll add it to the list. But Yeah, centaur, minotaur. So I think this
Interesting.
guy's more of a centaur,
I think so.
but they call him a minotaur.
Yeah, but he's got horns like a devil.
He does. He has the horns like in the Jack Black. Oh well, in Pick of Destiny, the
Yes.
Tenacious D movie.
Yes.
He looks
So,
like,
like,
David Roll. Yeah.
So is there such a thing as a maybe he's a demon? Maybe he's more of a demon, I guess. But are demons like centaurs? Centaurs? Centaurs?
so.
Or okay.
I don't know.
Who knows what he is? But he
Well,
stinks.
they
He
always,
wasn't a good fighter.
they always give Satan. They always give Satan like horse legs. So maybe some kind of weird
They do?
bow-legged thing. I don't know. I've only met him once. But
explains a
yeah,
lot.
so then we get like this whole like friggin' the fight. It was boring. All the fights were boring. Even like the Shao Kahn, Liu Kang. I'm like, this is gonna be great. No, boring. And then when he does his animality, when he's like in a chokehold, he turns into a dragon. I'm like, this is really cool. And I love that Shao Kahn's like, you think that's cool? I'm gonna turn into a dragon with 10 heads.
So why did he wait for that? Like it again. Why didn't he do it right off the bat? You know, like if he could turn into a dragon, wouldn't he do it like real quick before he's paying attention and like eat him? Like he could have done it so fast. Instead, he not only does he do it, he knows that the other guy's changing because you can see him like slowly transforming. How about attack him while he's in the middle of transforming?
Yes. Why don't they do that? Always in the end of movies, it's always like the bad guy like is small and then he dies and then he gets bigger.
And they wait and watch, and then we have to watch claymation.
Yeah, but the fact that they both fell off the cliff so quick, they didn't even fight like that.
You know, to me that was such a hokey move. The fact that they took the characters out of what they are to have them fight as dragons. I mean,
Yeah.
I know in the game he could turn into a dragon, and they're trying to but like again, that's more budget, right? I'd rather see the karate fighting. Who cares about the dragon claymation fighting?
I know. That's what I want. I want actual like.
Yeah,
Give me American Ninja. Give me the first movie. Give me that Revenge of the, like that's what I want. And the fact that that's all we got, and then we get the Elder God show up, and they put their arms on Raiden and Shao Kahn's dad, and they're like, "It's time for us to do the Mortal Kombat fight." And then isn't that at the same point? Didn't they like send him away? Didn't he get sent to where the Superman bad guys went?
Yeah, he went into that glass. Like, I mean, okay, so if that old man is more powerful, he's got to be more powerful than Shao Kahn. Why didn't he do any kind of like
Well, he was
destroying
about to at that point.
Yeah,
he was about to.
right,
He said,
but why did he wait so long? Why did he wait so long?
They always do. That guys don't get it. Just just kill the guy when you can. Then they have to wait. There's like this thing with bad guys, and it's such a great trope because I love that all movies follow it. As corny as it is, it's great. Always, it's like, yeah, they have the gun pointed at the main guy, like the main hero, and they're like, "I'll let the other guys finish you." It's like
always, they always screw it up. We've discussed this many times. We said if they just take care of it when they had to, none of the problems they would have in the future would happen. They just they prolong it. And again, how about the elders coming at the right time? They waited and they came at the right time. And the fact that they have that Superman 2 glass thing,
exactly the same friggin' prison,
ridiculous.
like this.
Well, no, but I think but I thought it shattered. Didn't this one shatter?
Oh, it might have. I don't know. It was like the same time that the fight that was like not long at all. Shao Kahn dies on just getting kicked like a kick, and he did a backflip and he landed, and then he had a dragon come out of his body, and he was dead. So was he dead? Because we always saw him turn into a dragon. So he could turn into a dragon, but he has a dragon inside of his body. So he's.
If you die as a dragon, wouldn't you stay as a dragon though?
I would think he becomes a dragon. Like if he morphed into a dragon, and then that was just like a morph kind of thing, and then he was able to go back to his human self. But when he was his human self, a dragon ripped his body apart.
So is he a dragon that's pretending to be a human, or is he a human pretending to be a dragon?
Like two kids on shoulders under a trench coat. Yeah, I think I would enjoy that even more if at that point when the dragon came out, he started talking and he said, "I'll get you next time, Liu Kang." I would then that would have been a great payoff, but nope, we didn't get that.
No, nothing.
It just sort of flew away. So he's sort of alive, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who was that dragon?
So dumb.
God, and then
So dumb.
Earth's back to normal, and everybody's like back to where they were. And this one, Jack says the line like, "Man, that was a crazy 7 days." And I'm like, "No, it was like 12 hours."
No, it wasn't. Yeah. And so like I didn't go all the way to the end, but is there an end scene to show that?
No, I told you there's nothing. No. I scrolled through the 12 minutes of credits. I scrolled. No, Liu Kang saw the monks where we saw in the beginning of the movie.
Right.
And that was it.
Well, that's where his brother was from, or something like that, right? Or that's when
Yeah, something
brother
like that.
died in the first one.
The only thing we got at the end of the movie was Raiden is alive, and he becomes the elder god because they said, since your father was an elder god, you are an elder. I'm like,
it's that easy to be an elder god?
Yeah, I guess so. It's a family business. Yeah, it's like if my dad was a doctor and my dad died, they'd be like, okay, you're the new ER doctor. Here's your scalpel.
Listen,
Okay.
you know what? It's happened so many times in movies where someone who's not a cop becomes a cop just because they help, so yeah.
Whew. So that was Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Jamie, I know you felt about the movie. What's a good, because we kind of talked about what the plot was, like what we could have fixed. I don't know. What's a good question? Because I know you're not going to recommend it, obviously.
I'm not going to recommend it, and the only way to fix it was to throw it in the trash. Because I don't think there's anything you can do. I think the damage was done. Like I said, even if you change the story and you change the actors or whatever, it was still crappy special effects. Maybe if like the special effects were on par for like that time and like, at least then maybe the movie would have been better, but it was so cheesy that I think it just added to everything else. And I just think absolutely it's not worth watching. Because if anything, it kind of destroys the feel of the first movie. I really think the first one is much better. Again, the first one is cheesy too, but because of the music, the action was so much better. The fact that it was just a tournament, that they're each fighting someone different, and the fights were longer in the first movie.
Oh yeah, and better characters. Kano, Goro, you had
it was such a better movie. I would say. Yeah, I mean, I would say pretend this one never existed and watch the first one. Even watch the new one. The new one wasn't bad. The new one.
Oh, I didn't see it was good.
It's good. I mean, it's definitely more graphic. It's definitely but yeah, I mean, the fighting is. I mean, it's real. It's much. This movie's horrible, and I would say don't watch it. Throw it away.
Man, it's so funny, Jamie. You kind of jinxed us. It was like last year. You said the same thing. We started off hot. With some pretty good movies, and I feel Terminator Genesis. Well, it wasn't like obviously the greatest movie, but it was still better than this one. But hopefully, that a movie that we both have not seen is one because we like the people in it. The next sequel that we're covering is Badasses on the Bayou. I believe it's the third Badass movie, which is after that YouTube video of Ambulance when the guy knocks the guy out. If you haven't seen that. Just YouTube ambulance fight on the bus or whatever. But yeah, ridiculous. But yeah, so that movie has Danny Trejo. It also has Danny Glover. And I think there's a bunch of other people, like B people that are good. Before it, I just interviewed, just before me and Jamie started this review, actor, producer, soon to be director, writer, James Mose Black. Funny guy did comedy, which I didn't even know that. Because when you look at somebody's IMDb, it doesn't have like stand up. And he was opening up for the Kings of Comedy in the early 90s. Bernie Mac, Cedric the Entertainer, D.L. Hughley. He had a great story about DJing during a Bernie Mac set. And he was just such a funny guy, like throughout the interview. And then, of course, we talked about his acting, how, years after going to school, working in corporate America, he was like, I want to start acting. And then he formed this bond with some of the people at FX. So he was working on Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Legit, Sons of Anarchy, a lot of those shows. He was on 24 Legacy, which he really liked that show. He had a 6-episode run, and then he goes, what happens on those shows? Brothers don't make it. So I got killed after 6 episodes. And then the big thing, man, he's in the hit movie Renfield. He plays Captain Browning. So yeah, he talked about having some great scenes working with Ben Schwartz. A lot of riffing they were able to do on set, but a great chat really about just what really goes into acting and really what he cares about. is obviously the paycheck. Like, he loves doing it, but in this game, like, that's what matters. And yeah, I really love talking about it because he was such a funny guy. His stories about stand up and just him throughout the conversation was just funny. So you're gonna enjoy that. And man, Bad, I love whenever it's a movie we've never seen before. And I love Trejo movies, and I like the way they're usually made because they're just really to the point. It's gonna be action. It's gonna have those corny 80s lines, and I hope we get that. So don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. And don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.